Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's video, I have 3 tips on basically deployment for you guys. And let me first introduce the knife that I'll be using. This is the CRKT M1613 SFG. It's really been a good solid knife. I have 0 complaints with this guy. So this is one of those knives that has a whole bunch of very slick and smooth ways of deployment. That's not a bad thing, okay? And I'm not against that whatsoever. It can come in handy. It could be very useful at times. But that being said, though, I feel like many people today get caught up in all that, and they are forgetting one of the most important lessons that I personally learned in martial arts. And the main issue is, when is the right time to deploy this knife, okay? Or any knife, for example, that is a folding knife. And the right time to do that is pretty simple. It's when you're safe to do so. So if you're thinking about deploying the knife and there is a pretty solid chance for your opponent to hit you, or that they're gonna come attack you, and there's a solid chance of that, then this is not the right time, because what you're doing here is you're playing the speed game, just like the old West, the Wild West. You're trying to go, okay, is this person faster or am I faster? And that's completely up to chance. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to play that kind of game. So that's one thing to remember. Don't play the speed game. And just remembering that alone and then trying to apply that, you're going to be much better off, and it's going to help you out with your timing, for sure. Understanding of timing, because that's not something that comes overnight. Okay, so the second advice, the second pointer that I have for you guys is, go ahead and use your folding knife closed, which means this is like using a palm stick, okay? So learn how to use your knife as a palm stick. If you have those skills, then it's gonna basically open more doors for you. You're going to be better at adapting to more situations. Because, for example, if you have the blade out, that just might be a little too much for certain situations. It just might be too full-blown. So having the blade out can be too much, but then if you go empty-hand, it just sometimes may not be enough. So if you decide to use this as a palm stick, then that may be the right remedy. So you could go like this, and if the situation gets worse, well, the knife's already in your hand. So I highly recommend to go ahead and add palm stick skills. So that's number 2. Advice number 3 is that even with something like this that has a very slick, multiple ways of deployment, and this has a very, very smooth deployment, okay, you should still expect this to happen. This can happen right here. Okay, and if you expect this to happen, that's the way to combat this. Expect this to happen, and then immediately go into your slashes like this, and you see it fixes itself, and you're already engaged in combat. Okay, so you should practice that. Go to a cutting board and practice that. Of course, glasses, everything. Please be safe, and you should be training already. That shouldn't be your first exposure to a knife. You should already have a lot of control and have trained properly. But that's one of my big recommendations there, is if you already expect this, and so boom, you try to deploy the knife, and whether this happens or this doesn't happen, your next move is already this. Okay, you're gonna be in a good habit. You don't even have to think twice and go, is this deployed or not deployed? It doesn't even matter, because you already do. That's already in your motion, and it's not wasted. So those are my 3 pointers. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.